Welcome back, everybody. Breaking news out of Iran, where that country's judiciary is saying a number of people are dead, dozens other injured after a massive fire inside a prison in the nation's capital. NBC has yet to verify some of the reports coming out of that prison. NBC News Tehran bureau chief Ali Arouzi is in Tehran for us. Ali, let's talk about this. The images overnight, they were startling of the prison, of the fire happening at Evin prison. This is a place in which political prisoners are often held. Do we know the status of some of those individuals and how it all got started?
Hey, Yasmin. Well, a lot of the details are still very blurry. This happened at about 8 o'clock local time last night, and it went on for about 4 or 5 hours, and we still don't have very many answers as to what happened, what the source of the fire was, what exactly happened behind prison walls. But as you said, Evin is a massive, sprawling complex, a city within a city, and yes, it does house a lot of your garden variety criminals, murderers, thieves, but it also houses a lot of political prisoners and foreign prisoners as well. Many of the people that have been arrested in these current protests are inside Evin. There are American citizens also being held inside Evin. One of the most famous ones right now, Siamak Namazi, whose father was released a short while ago and left Iran. He was in prison there. He had got in touch with his lawyer late last night to say that he was safe and he'd been transferred to a secure unit in the prison. Now, the authorities here are saying a variation of stories. They're saying a fight broke out in one section of the prison. There was a fire in a sewing shop. But right now, they're saying that 4 people have died. They're not saying they're political prisoners. They're saying they died of smoke inhalation. They're also saying that 61 other people have been injured. But there was a dramatic commotion there last night, Yasmin. The whole city was very anxious when news broke that there was a massive fire at Evin prison. From about 8 o'clock till about midnight, there were sounds of explosions. There was the constant sound of gunfire ringing in the vicinity of Evin. And you have to remember, Evin is in the north of Tehran, and it's surrounded by a residential area. So local residents were in real time describing what they were hearing and seeing coming out of Evin. And this caused great anxiety. People jumped into their cars, probably people that had relatives or friends inside the prison. Other people were on the roads. They shut all the roads to Evin, and a massive traffic jam ensued in the city, and we still don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah, that is what's most startling amidst all the protests that are happening in that country is the geography of that prison, the way that you describe it, being amidst the city, really, and all of these environments that have homes and people that are likely going to bed, and yet there was this massive fire taking place at this complex housing all of these prisoners. Ali Arouzi for us, we thank you for coming on with us. Appreciate it.